That's funny.
We're live.
No Dawn today?
Yeah, he's in a Zoom meeting with his board for Casey or something.
Oh,
The
okay.
Clerks
Okay.
Association. He's supposed to be over here, but he must not got off in time.
Gotcha. Okay. Rebecca, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Yeah. Wish spring would actually get here. Not, keep teasing us. Like yesterday, we were out working in the yard, like, oh, this is great. And then it's 35 degrees. Like,
It's
okay.
over with.
Yep.
Call the meeting, Crawford County Commission order, Friday, April 17th, 2020, begin with flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Had a chance to look over the previous meeting minutes. Is there any corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Aye. Moving on to signing of the motions.
Yeah, motion 20-169, the consent agenda be approved. 20-170 to recess and go to closed executive session for non-elected.
Yeah.
20-170 to approve the emergency solutions grant recipient request for reimbursement. 20-172 to approve the contractor's application for payment number 4 from Heckenwicker. 20-173 to take a 5-minute recess. 20-174 to approve the 5 agreements between Board of County Commissioners and Jayhawk Wind LLC. Last one's 20-175 to recess and go into a closed executive session for attorney-client relationship.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
No, thanks.
All right. I guess moving on to new business. Rebecca, you want to bring us up to speed?
Yes, Rebecca.
Sure, I can do that. So not a lot's changed. The governor did extend her stay-at-home order to May 3rd. I'm sure everybody's probably seen that by now. So that will continue till May 3rd. We have no new cases in Crawford. We still have 1 case in the hospital. The others are, we had 1 death, the other 4 are recovered. So we have not had anything.
Do you know any of the information of the counties surrounding us?
Yes, some of the counties have seen an increase in cases. Montgomery County and Labette County have had the most. Cherokee County had 1 or 2 new ones since we
Okay.
talked last. But Montgomery and Labette have seen the most increase lately. And then Wilson County had 1.
Rebecca, are you hearing a lot of stuff as far as our constituents wanting barber shops and beauty salons?
I have not gotten really any calls about that, like wanting to reopen them.
Yes.
Not yet, I haven't.
I've had a couple of calls
Have
on
you?
it. Of course, it's the governor's call.
Right, yeah,
Right.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
regardless of how we feel, it's not our call.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I have not received any calls like
the
that.
restaurants as well. I've had a few of them.
Yeah. I have had a few calls about gas stations. Are people supposed to be getting their drinks themselves? And they're not. In the governor's order, it says the staff can get that for them. So
Right.
the
I've
people who
seen-
work there can get it for the customers.
Right. I've seen a few that are set up.
Yeah,
That's pretty ingenious how they've done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, for the most part though, I think people are following it.
Well, evidently, They are, and it's working.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, we, knock on wood, we haven't had a case in
a while.
a couple weeks.
Yeah, I hope it stays that way.
How has the testing been? Do we
Good.
know how many we've still got out?
We don't have very many out. Every morning I'm on a call with Community Health, Via Christi and Girard Medical Center. And Community Health this morning, Dr. Bean stated they've tested over 500 people. That's not just Crawford County, of course, because
Right.
they're multi-county.
Correct.
But I know we've probably had I mean, if I had to make an estimated guess, 200 to 300 tests just in Crawford County, and we've had the 6 positives. We maybe have 20 out right now, waiting on results countywide. So it's gone down quite a bit, because at first we had lots and lots of them out.
Right,
But we've been
yes.
getting a lot of negatives in. The turnaround time has been around 24 hours. It's
Yeah.
gotten a lot better, so that's helped.
That's good.
Yeah, and I can kind of update you a little bit, on the serum testing, the blood test for the antibodies. There are some tests out on the market. I've had a few questions about that. We have a call every day with KDHE. They're not recommending that we use those right now because none of them are FDA approved.
Mm,
So none of them are actually FDA approved, and actually, they can detect the typical coronavirus that a lot of people get, like cold signs and symptoms, the human coronavirus. So
Right.
you can get a lot of false positives with them. So we're just kind of waiting to see if one becomes FDA approved, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
We're just waiting for one
Right.
to become FDA approved. None of them are, though. There's several out on the market. So it's still the nasal swab. And people still have to have symptoms to be tested right now.
Has the state discussed at all testing going forward, like if they're looking at ramping up? Because I know Dr. Norman has talked
Yeah.
about, that we want to see a decline in cases before.
Yeah. They are but it's more in the western part of the state, the north and the west, where they don't have much testing yet.
Mm,
So we haven't been offered any kind of drive-through clinic capabilities, like testing clinics or anything like that. We're still doing testing at the health department, and then
Right.
Via Christi, Girard Medical Center, and community health clinics are still testing, but we're actually in the higher percentages of testing per population compared to some of the
Really?
counties out west.
mm.
Yeah, we've done a lot of testing in Crawford County, so, and not just the health department, but other providers. Really, community health has done a lot of testing,
Mm.
which is good.
And as far as the testing supplies go, that's
We're okay.
not an issue at
Not
this
right
point?
now. We've got the swabs, and we can use the normal saline. It doesn't have to be the viral medium, so that helped a lot.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, but they are gonna be doing more testing out west in the state. So the state is doing that, just not necessarily in southeast Kansas.
Right. Well, I figured, Dr. Norman has talked about several times, especially with the more populous counties, that
Mhm.
it's kind of expected that they're going to be taking care of themselves.
Yeah. For right now, they haven't really mentioned what they're gonna be doing in the larger counties. I don't know if they're waiting for these serum testing kits to become FDA approved, or
Mm.
they haven't really said on that.
Okay. So as far as, May 3rd is now the new,
Mhm. That's the new date.
and it sounds like, and the impression that I've kind of gotten is that the expectation is we'll have something in place once that's lifted, that it's
Yeah.
probably at the state level going to be a clear, clean.
Yeah, possibly, that they've mentioned that, that each county then could decide, like we were before, what we want to keep in place. I mean, our order is still there. We haven't rescinded it, the order that we put forth right before the governor put the stay-at-home order in place. So when her stay-at-home order lifts, we can rescind our order, or we can adjust our order. This depends, a lot of it depends on how many cases you have and things like that.
Right.
So, we can still require the 6-foot distancing, like originally, in the governor's order originally, she had put out for restaurants 6-foot distancing between tables, limiting 50 or less. I mean, it'll just depend on, and I think that's why they're doing it that way. I can't speak for the governor, but every county is so different on how many cases they have. Some still have had none, out in the western part of the state and more northern, so it'll just depend on how things are going here. We can
Right.
put something in place that's less restrictive than what we had done before.
I've had several businesses, I mean, primarily restaurants, but I think
Sure.
also like the beauty salons and the
Sure.
ones that have been totally closed down would be interested as well. But
Sure.
I think a lot of them are wanting an idea of what that might look like before May the 3rd, so they can
Right.
start preparing that, like, if restaurants, for example, can be dine-in, but with specifications, I think
Right.
they're gonna wanna know before
Yeah.
that is lifted, just so they can kind of be preparing.
Sure, I mean, and there's just no way to know for sure. Our peak is supposed to be between the 19th and the 22nd, so probably within another week, we might have a better idea of, what it will look like and how we can loosen the restrictions and that type of thing, or how strict, how we need to keep it, if we need to keep it a little more restricted, in the next 2 weeks. If we get 0 cases, I mean, that would be great. We could loosen some of that by May 3rd, when the governor's orders
Correct.
is over with. But there's no way right now really to know a date or what it will look like until we get
Correct.
through at least the next week or so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, I'm in favor of erring on the side of caution rather than let's all have a party
Sure.
and have 1,000 people in a room or whatever, like,
Well, and the governor's even said that should not happen in places,
Right.
You should not go from a stay-at-home order to nothing. We don't want to do that and have an outbreak, so,
Common sense would go a long way.
yeah, we'll have to have something. We'll have
Yes.
to have something, but.
well, if we can be working with businesses, I don't know if that's working with the chambers or having soliciting feedback like we did the
Mhm.
first time with restaurants,
Sure.
to see,
Yeah,
what
and
might work.
maybe the chambers could do that for us. Yeah.
I know that they've been staying on top of it,
Uh-huh, Yeah.
working with businesses pretty closely, so
sure.
that might be a good go-to.
Mhm, Yeah,
All right.
Okay.
Is
okay.
that something, do you want to, next 24th, and then we got the 1st. It doesn't have to be a Friday either, I'm just throwing that out there. Do a
Yeah, her
work session
order-
type
her
deal and
order-
talk about some,
We can,
and
sure.
organize,
Mhm.
because,
Mhm. Next week is gonna be the week that we're supposed to see our peak, so,
Okay.
which I'll be here every Tuesday and Friday, so, if we want to the week after that,
okay,
we can discuss it during an open meeting, I'm fine with that. I mean, then everybody can have input.
that's
Sure.
fine. Well, I just wonder if we wanted to, if we did a work session, we'd talk about
We could
kind of
do
what it
that.
looks like,
Yeah, we
because
could do that too.
I know you have ideas, and,
Well, I think probably what it will look like is going back towards one of the first orders, like
Right.
what the governor had put in place for restaurants, the tables 6 foot apart, limiting how many people are in the restaurant at a time.
right,
Her very first order that she put out is probably what we should go back to, I would think. I mean, if we're not having any cases between now and then,
right.
even if for a few weeks, go to something like that and see how it goes. And if we don't have any more cases, then moving forward from there.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So either way is fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Rebecca.
Rusty, you have any update?
I really don't have anything new, still working on the PPE stuff, and other than that, nothing else is new.
Okay. Let's see, do you want to, Dale's out in the hallway, you want, oh, no, I didn't see you, sorry.
Look, I'm hiding from you.
I couldn't see you
Just real
there.
quick, I don't have anything major. Sheriff Danny Smith. Just want to kind of give you guys an update as far as our operations. We did test one inmate the other day, which our protocols that we have in place have been working. I mean, for this stuff that we've had to throw together and the challenge we had to do, we've actually have any new arrestees, we've been quarantining for 14 days in our holding cells before we introduce them into our general population. So our biggest challenge has been not getting inmates or any of our staff, trying to keep them, take any measures we can to keep them from, getting sick, because honestly, the inmates are probably one of the safest populations because they're not out there every day getting exposed. So they have to, we're more worried about our staff getting them
Right.
sick. So we've been really trying to take precautions there. But we did have an inmate that we did test the other day. He was actually on day 9 And so, you know, if we didn't have those protocols in place, we may have had an exposure in there, but it came back negative, so we're good to go there. So we're feeling good about that, and we're just gonna, I think every day we're still, even how deep we are into it, every day we're still doing something protocol-wise or trying to put something together. The one thing that we're actually talking about right now is what it's gonna look like when we do open back up. We have a ton of services that when our lobby opens up, we have VIN inspections, we have offender registration, bonding, visitation. There is a ton of services that we offer when that lobby opens up that I don't want 60 people in our lobby
Right.
when it happens. So we're already starting to talk about those transitions. When this happens, are we going to, you know, I think really we're probably going to limit who comes in. You know, right now, like for our visitation, we have set up for 3 visitations, but really I want that to be 1 at a time. So we're gonna have to have somebody man the door and try to funnel people to whatever service they're asking or need to do. Because you know, Joe knows when we open this up, we're liable to have people around the sidewalk, around the wall for VIN inspections. And so we may have to staff extra people for VIN inspections that day to do that. So we're already starting to talk about those transitions. You know, the other thing that we're talking about at our agency, and I know we've kind of discussed it, is when the time comes, having an after-action report, and us all sit down together. I know my department will do that, but I know we'll all do it as a whole too.
Right.
And talk about what we've learned, because there's a lot of lessons we've learned that if this gets ramped back up in the fall or next year, we won't have to reinvent the wheel on some of these things. So there's
I
definitely
agree.
a lot of lessons learned that we've had to kind of come up with on the fly and make adjustments as they come to us. So those are just things right now. You know, my biggest fear is us getting a cluster from the jail, and you know, right now we're at 6, but you know, if we don't continue to treat this as a imminent threat still, we could have 6 or 7 overnight.
Yeah.
So it's just something I think to still instill in people that this is still a threat. It really scares me on our part because we're out there taking calls, and I got deputies and we got EMS, and we still have people that are, it doesn't matter where, nurses, people that are working. I mean, we still have people that are at risk for exposure, and that's my biggest fear is us getting one of our staff sick and affecting, I mean, we're running 24/7, so it affects a lot of people. So otherwise, I mean, I think things have run really smooth for our department, and really, I think as a county as a whole, I think things have been really smooth. So for something that none of us have seen in our lifetime, I think we've all done what we could to prevent this. So I think the curve's probably.
And on the AAR, the after action report, we could probably do that at an LAPC meeting, you know, with all the county people together, and Lee Miller could be there, he's our lower 8 coordinator, because the state's gonna require the health departments to do an after action.
Yeah.
So it'd be more simplistic if we do it all together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be one of those things by the time it's over with,
Well, a big
we will
list.
actually have, a big list on
Things to work
terms,
on.
and then even things instilled that if this happens again, we already know,
Well,
I
and
mean,
something to think about for the fall or winter, you know, is the health department may have to set up points of distribution sites if they do get a vaccine. So we did that with H1N1, they had a vaccine fairly quickly, you know, and so we did pods and we went out and gave the vaccine. So by this winter, if they do have one, no one seems to really know for sure when that would be, but that would be something that could definitely take a lot of time this winter, is doing pods and giving vaccines.
and I think as a whole, even though, and I mean, not even at the government level, but at the community level, our community's done a great job doing what they can. You know, you look across the country, there's a lot of pushback, and it doesn't matter if it's from a church or if it's people that are protesting. I mean, I think our community has done the best they can on this, and it really haven't caused us any problems at all like we've seen across the country. So I think they're taking it serious, and I think everybody's erring on the side of caution as much as everybody wants things to open up and do that. I think it's, you know, we're just being cautious at this time.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. Joe, would you, I forgot about you.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. I did just want to touch base briefly, since we're now in the middle of April. We've had a few phone calls, and I'm sure maybe you have had some questions about, the second half tax deadline is, for property taxes, is May 11th, Monday, May 11th this year, since the 10th falls on a Sunday. And we've had some calls, people asking if that deadline is going to be extended, or penalties and fees going to be waived. And I just want to let people know that the county treasurer nor the county commissioners can do anything about changing those deadlines, either the fees and penalties or the tax deadline. That, Jimmy and I have kind of looked at the statutes, and it looks to me like it would take legislative action to actually change any of that, which I'm not saying it may happen, I don't know. But as of right now, the tax deadline is still, for second half 2019 taxes, is still Monday, May 11th. I would, if you get questions, encourage people to call our office, and we'll try to work with them, the best we can if they're struggling within the law, to try to help them, get their taxes paid in a timely manner and make it as where it's not hurting them, too much. To try to make it as easy as possible. And we are still working as much as we can. We're having a lot of people not coming into the office, but coming to the courthouse to drop off paperwork for vehicle and vehicle registration work, renewals. We're doing a lot of online renewals. A lot of people have switched to the online. We are even using our delinquent tax payment application to take their payment. It's really for property taxes, but it works very well for tag renewals. If they don't want to do it online, just want to call us over the phone, we'll walk them through that and try to help them. We are able to do title work, so tell people if they've bought a car and they need title work to be done, we are able to do title work. We have to do it a little bit different than we normally do. The only work we can't do is if they have an out-of-state title and need a VIN inspection. We can't do the title work in that case, but we can get them a temporary permit, so they're legal to drive even without getting the title work done, without the VIN inspection. So just encourage people, if you all get questions, to call our office, and we'll try to work with them the best we can to make it as painless as possible for them. Okay?
Cool.
Thank you
Any
very much.
questions? No, I don't think so.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
for the
Joe.
update. All right. Do you want to meet with Dale right now? He's sitting out in the hallway, that way he can go?
How about we have a 5-minute discussion amongst ourselves?
Mhm.
Right, I mean, would you want to go ahead and jump to that?
Please, yeah, let's go ahead.
Go into executive session, 5 minutes, non-elected personnel,
Why don't you make that 10 minutes?
10 minutes,
Okay.
okay? Non-elected personnel, subject, sign department.
Second.
All right.
You guys want me to give my cut?
You're
good. Yeah, I think so.
And I'll type up an example, and I'll email it
That's
to
fine, I'm
you.
just saying,
Just kind of something,
I'm sure it's gonna look different every
Sure.
day.
Yeah.
I was gonna let you guys know I'm on a meeting with our KAC board over there.
Okay.
And going back and forth.
Bobby did
But-
mention that,
but
yeah.
Anyway, just to let you know.
Rebecca, there's that call, I think they're doing another call this afternoon, right? The 2:30 governors thing, I believe so. I had another
At
call.
2:30? Or was it
I'll
3?
need to check. I'll check and I'll text you.
Just text me.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay,
Cool.
are you gonna listen up here?
Maybe I'll talk to Jim.
Okay, just let me know.
Either way, we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Cool, thanks.
I think when I go back in, they're gonna have the guy from Katie Medicine who's been charting all of the stuff with COVID for the Kansas Health Department. He's supposed to be on our meeting, he's coming on at 10:15. I'm gonna go back in there and see what they're doing anyway, but if you wanna.
I can do my job, a lot of it from home, making phone calls and stuff and looking stuff up on the internet. But this is about the only thing that I go out for, is
Yeah.
these meetings. And
Yeah.
it's a lot to, and I wonder too about like the economic impact of all of it.
Oh,
Now,
it's,
22 billion layoffs is the last I heard.
yeah.
Unemployment claims.
I think that would be a ripple effect
Yeah,
for a long time. I don't know. I don't know what the recovery would look like for that.
yeah,
This whole thing, like I said, it's such a learning lesson for everybody that
yeah.
you can only deal with what you got, and there's really all, how this thing spreads or not, that's dictates the whole thing. So
Yeah.
you're at the mercy of any kind of outbreaks.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely don't want it to be like New York, the whole country. That would be terrible, but it's just, it's a crazy situation.
No, it is, it's unbelievable.
Well, have a good weekend. You too. Is there any big busts or, crimes happening lately at that
Not
thing?
really, I
Yeah.
mean, some of the usual stuff, but nothing too crazy. I mean, because like I said, with us, the other day, every one of my holding cells was occupied. And if they're waiting for 14 days before we can get them out, it makes it tough.
Right, you guys are.
We're trying to be a little selective. I mean,
Sure.
if somebody comes in, nobody wants to come to the lobby, turn themselves in on the Windows check thing, we're saying, please come back another time. I mean, it's just,
Yeah,
it's just, those are things that if I had a homicide suspect and an aggravated battery guy, those are what I need those people to be in the jail. And, if you've been out for the last 2 months or you got a worthless check warrant, I really don't want to take care of that right now.
at the same time, you probably don't want to advertise that too much.
No, you really don't. I mean, you don't. I mean, because you don't want these guys just running around doing stupid stuff.
Yeah,
Because they talk and, just,
yeah. Well, if
there'll
they're,
be another issue when we open this up. You may have a lot more proactive stuff. Next thing you know, I'll be back up to 100 something inmates. Because right now they have like 60. And we haven't seen that in a long time. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like I said, you just deal with the hand you get. So we just do what we do.
well, if you do have any, case comes along, crazy something or other.
Really, the homicide thing was kind of the biggest one for us and the biggest thing. We get maybe one a year, so that one wasn't a big whodunit. I mean, that's what, if we don't have a suspect, what that does to us, including during something like this, for resources, and I mean, when you gotta go chase down 100 leads, and you're trying to figure out some good stuff, it's very taxing, including during the pandemic, so we didn't have that issue.
We'll go back into executive session. How long you want, Jim? 10? 15 minutes. Non-elected personnel, subject, signed department, 3 commissioners, council, and Mr. Sharman.
Second.
Good weekend.
Hey, I saw another tree the other day. I thought maybe another person.
Say what?
John, how long they can wait for?
15 minutes.
All right. Whole meeting back to order. I guess moved on to new business. Bobby, you have anything? Jim?
No.
Tom?
No, sir.
Jeremy?
I do not have any new business.
The only thing I can think of right now is the stay-at-home order, the change. So courthouse will continue, just basically follow the same guidelines until, at this time, May 3rd. Everybody's okay with that?
Mhm. Yes.
Is that what you're looking for? Okay. I do have one new thing, new business that we talked about. Executive session. Yeah, if we could go into executive session, non-elected personnel for 10 minutes. In topic of emergency management.
Second.
Aye.
About forgot.
to bring it out there.
All right, call the meeting back to order. I guess we're moving on to old business. Bobby, do you have anything for old business, Jim?
I've got a hold of George Dockery.
Oh, good.
He called during the work session, so
Good.
that's why I snuck out.
Nice.
And we talked about a few things, but first was K7.
Okay,
And I told him that we were interested in seeing if there's anything we could do regarding K7. And he said that it's up to the governor's level. They've made it known that there are issues that need looked at. He told me that they were not aware that we were having any issues.
oh, wow.
And he said that if there's anything that maybe we could work on at the county level, and Danny left, but just to make sure that the accidents that are being done, whether it's highway patrol or the sheriff's
Department's documenting everything now,
right, that they're
because
documenting that,
even if it's under the 1,000.
right, and send it in
Right.
to KDOT. So to make sure that they're aware, maybe they're sending it in to Chanute, maybe they're sending it in somewhere that the higher ups weren't aware of it.
Okay,
But we've definitely had, George said at least 8 that he knew of, and it'd be pretty easy to check the Sheriff's Department Facebook page. They're on there anytime it happens, so.
right.
There's documentation, but I think he said to just make sure that we're getting that up to
Pushed through.
where it needs to get, so. And we may be doing that, and it's just not, like I said, head up to the higher offices.
Well, he'll probably be here Tuesday. Maybe we'll talk to the
Talk about it a
sheriff
little bit
about it
more.
Tuesday and then see. I'm foreseeing with the 69 project starting, a massive change in flow for 7.
Yeah, there will be.
Because and it's gonna be for multiple years, so the sooner the better.
Another issue he told me was that they have changed to a 10-foot restriction, which didn't really know what that meant. But he said what it means is that for the trucking companies, any road they flag as a 10-foot restriction, they will send their drivers to another spot. So he thinks they're trying to work on the GPS issue, but for now, the GPS is showing that as a 12-foot lane. A 12-foot lane, they'll allow their drivers, the major commercial drivers,
Right.
to be on the 10-foot. They normally don't. So he's hoping that will start reflecting in the GPS system shortly. He said they also have some of their people also working on the GPS in their traffic division. They're looking into that, trying to get it fixed. So make sure that that's correct on the GPS, and they're routing people around.
Okay, good.
The local haulers can
Local-
be on it.
Right.
But as far as the over-the-road trucking companies, they would move those people off of K7. So there is some, they're trying to help out that way. And just a little bit on 69 Highway, they have started. They're finding it slow going, like we have with the sewer project. So we've got the graders and people working on places where it's dry enough to work. But that's been about it. They said that, and I've been getting some emails on this, south end of the project, this kind of goes in with our sewer project. There was some fence that we took down that we're not gonna have to put back up.
Good.
And that was a question that was asked. They're gonna actually change the fence style there, single strand, whatever that looks like.
Okay, was that change order we did with Wicker, was that, I thought one of those was for the fence.
They're supposed to go back in and deduct, whatever
Because I
the
thought we
cost-
paid that.
Whatever the cost was gonna be, is supposed to be showing on a deduction.
Okay,
For
good,
the-
perfect. Okay.
So, but the state did allow, said they'll put something new up, that doesn't matter. And I worked with George, we kind of have a plan on an issue that, talking about with Bruce
The
on the
easement.
water line, trying to
Okay.
get that moved. He said if we could get him a picture of what that looks like, send
I
him an
can-
email, he is working.
I can do that.
Okay,
Okay.
they are, they're all working from home, but if we can email him something, they can still, they're still doing a lot of work, it's just from home. So he's got a command center in his house that he's, working from, so.
So he needs a picture of the properties and which easement we're trying to
Yes.
get and see where KDOT's right
Yes.
away.
So
or
there's areas.
If they
where-
have easement, because the rumor
Right.
is they have easement, but we don't know that for a fact, so we just need to figure it out.
Right, he
Okay.
said there's areas where it's tight, but there's areas where there's.
Well, we've got two
There'll be
out
room
of
to
the
operate.
three they've got.
Right, so he said
So
they
we're
may be able to work that in.
Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
So
That'd
we
be
just need to
perfect.
get that to him. And I think that was it as far as my conversation with George. He did tell me that they're gonna be seeing more, I guess for a Missouri project, we may be seeing more, turbine parts, through K-47. And
Okay, I
so-
haven't seen them on 47, but I've
I've
seen a
seen
bunch
them
on
on-
69.
I've seen them on 160 too.
Mm.
He said, I don't know if that's because of 120, I don't know. But he said that
Hmm.
there'd be quite a few on 47 and to watch especially in town. So, they may be asking, this Danny in here again, the sheriff's department or the city to help them through because they've been doing some projects in town and they're gonna have one that narrows that down to 20 feet, 20-foot lane, going both ways. So they'd have to stop traffic to get them through.
Oh, wow.
And that's supposed to be at least 20 per day through
Wow.
here.
Wow.
Between 8 and 4, so that'll be, those are going to Missouri. So, and he said that we'll be seeing a lot of those with the NEO show as it ramps up, Bourbon and the Crawford project. So, but these are going on to Missouri. So that'll be something to watch out for and let Danny know about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, my other old business was, make sure we talk about the closing till May 3rd. I mean, I want to remind people that there's employees here working.
Right?
So you can call us, you can email us if you have questions, any department. And as Joe said earlier, they're getting a lot of people, through our front door system, where they can drop off things, and also through the email, clerk's office too, register deeds. We're still getting business done, it's just in a different fashion, and we'll keep doing that at least till May 3rd, and we'll see what happens then, so
Sounds good.
that's all I have.
Cool.
Okay. Tom?
Full business now.
Jeremy?
I guess today at 12:30, Jim and I are supposed to meet with the City of Pittsburgh folks over a Zoom meeting to discuss the census mailer that we're going to work on doing. So we'll
Good.
find out more what the logistics look like after that.
And we can't encourage people enough to fill that out and send it in.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference in our area.
Yes, it'll have a big impact on funding and all kinds of, it's important. So, yeah, I'll let you know what we find out from that. And that is all I have for old business.
I'm gonna wait on mine till Tuesday if I get a response from the email.
I do have one more item.
Okay.
We've been working with the landfill, and we will be able to open
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Monday morning. We're encouraging 8 to 4 on the time for free day, but the landfill will be back open for free day customers and third party. We'll have, we've got a person that'll be up there during that 8 to 4 time, and we've visited with Matt Sanders this morning to kind of get that lined out, and then Matt said he'll be there Monday morning, just to let them know kind of what we're looking at. They'll have other employees there too. I think the main thing is tracking loads, and just making sure that they're following the rules. So
Did he send you a list of the rules that he's concerned with?
yes,
Is that something we could
I could
you
give
could say
that,
right now, so it's I mean, it'd probably be great if it's in the
I think
paper.
for now, we're gonna put it on, I think I may eventually, we'll have it on our website.
Okay.
I think we're wanting to get this, we're kind of wanting to get it going Monday
But
without a
basically,
whole lot
they're
of,
looking for, the loads have to be tarped.
loads have to be
If it's gonna
tarped.
be free, it's a pickup bed load, not,
It's a pickup bed or an
Anything.
8-foot trailer,
Right.
not both. It's no, yeah, there's a list of things.
so,
Like they're wanting to get, they want to do kind of a soft opening
Okay.
first Monday, and then maybe by Tuesday, I can get you some items for, more for
And if
public
they're-
release.
complete violation, they'll be turned away.
They'll be turned away, yeah, if they have.
So that's
more-
where it comes to be important, if somebody's gonna drive from Pittsburgh all the way to Arcadia,
Make sure.
and they get turned away, it's
Yes.
probably gonna be a half mile down the road in the ditch.
Yes, the option
So
is they
that's
can, yes, if
what
they
we
have
wanna
more than the
clarify.
8-foot, they can pay.
Right.
They'll
that's-
be set up to pay, but there are some items that they're not taking, you will be turned around.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm.
If you have more than the 8-foot, I mean, you can go up and they'll charge
You
you
just have to pay for it.
whatever the
Okay.
rate is, yeah, a small fee, but, so you can still go in,
Right.
but with the banned items, no, you'll be turned away.
So what are the band items? We're gonna get a list of
Their
those?
batteries and the burn barrels,
Okay.
I've got I've got lists,
Gotcha.
lists.
Hazardous
And I gave it to
items.
Cord, the person will be there, hazardous, and. yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
He has a list of what they can't be in, but there'll also be employees there to monitor.
But that's
that
not a
too.
change, that's always been.
No change, that's always
Just
been.
people don't know.
That's always been,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, wanted to let you know that we got a handle on that.
Yeah, thank you for that. That'll hopefully keep our guys from picking up out of the road.
Yes.
Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we can look at future business, April 24th, 10 a.m. public hearing on closing and vacating an unnamed alley in the town of Opolis. Announcements. Courthouse will be closed to the public through May 3rd, well, not closed, but limited access, I guess you could say, through May 3rd. Have to utilize the Dropbox. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no further business, I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
And, the limited access to the courthouse, I mean, yeah, people can still come through.